Hi guys, and greetings to everyone. My name is Austin, and today is the first time I'm coming online to give a live broadcast. And I want to be sure that everyone is listening to me. So please do pardon me. Let me observe and see who and who is there. You know? So, all right, and I'm still taking my time to observe. To be sure that yes, everything is working well. You know, so all right. So let's um let's discuss briefly. Sorry, if you're online and you're hearing me very well, please just respond by saying I am hearing you. That is on the chat box. You just type it in so that I'll be sure that yes, you guys are online and then you're hearing me. um okay, so let's begin. Now I titled this join me in celebrating our second year anniversary. And there are a good number of things we're going to discuss this um, afternoon, that is in Nigeria. And I just have 30 minutes to be here. And then after 30 minutes, I let go and allow room for some other person to take charge. So the the discussions we are going to have has been itemized. I've taken my time to itemize them, and we're going to take our time to discuss on it. If there is room for anyone to respond, you can respond, and then maybe we could iron out one or two things. So let's begin. We're going to talk about majorly TBC because actually it's TBC that we are here to promote. So before I begin, I would like to say that I, for one, have been taking my time to listen to several of these broadcasts, and I'm quite impressed with a good number of people that has been giving these live broadcasts. They've said a good number of things, and I must also commend the admin of TBC. Why I do commend him is because we've exceeded the time where people just feed you with information that are wrong or that are their own opinions. The admin tried as much as possible to make use of the blog. And then he made use of the blog. A good number of us were reluctant to look into the blog, you know. And he was always thinking, what's the best way I can combat this thing? That's what he was always thinking. And he brought up this live broadcast as an avenue to combat the issues of discounters and the people that are giving false information, you know. So I think that's a very good move he made. Now, we are going to discuss generally on TBC today. And every Saturday, by the same time, I will try as much as I can to be online so that we can discuss issues. Because I know there are a good number of things that a good number of us would like to discuss about. So I don't know how many of us are new, and I don't also know how many of us has been in the community for a while. But I, for one, have been in the community for a while, and I'm happy being in the TBC community. The reason why I say so is because in comparison to other organizations, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, TBC has shown a clear difference between them. I know that yes, in the Bitcoin community they are quite much. I think in the Bitcoin community there are about 15 million. Yes, about 15 million people in the community. But notwithstanding, the TBC community is rising. Calculations. In the next 6 days from now, we should hit 3 million. And one of the downloads videos, he said that if we continue at the same pace we are going, that by next year we should be at about 87 million. You know, and I think that's a reasonable number of people. You know, so that said on that. Now, TBC we all know. In case we don't know, TBC came out on the 21st of March 2016. That was when TBC did come out. And ever since then, it has been moving. What's the goal of TBC? The goal of TBC is to alleviate poverty. That's the whole goal of TBC. And as long as TBC is growing in numbers, you see the value of the cryptocurrency, that is TBC, will continue to grow stronger. And a good number of people will continue to come in. And the beautiful thing is that as people do come in, the value of the money keeps growing stronger and stronger. Now, when you look into the chart, you see that a good number of people in the community are from Nigeria. The reason why it's from Nigeria is because when Nigerians knew about it, a good number of us did things like trade fairs. When you look into Nigeria, we're about 1.3 million because several of those did trade fairs and stuff like that. And I was also one of those people that also took part in the trade fair. That's why our numbers are too high, and we've been increasing on a steady pace. So this fateful day, I just want to discuss a good number of things concerning cryptocurrencies. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is cryptocurrencies in general. What are cryptocurrencies? Now, my let me get where I stored it. So please just exercise a little patience. Sorry, just give me a little while, please. It's all good. So now, according to the information that I did keep, it says that cryptocurrencies is a digital currency. Now, in which encryption technologies or encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currencies. Now, and verify the transfer of funds, operating independently of the central banks. So in a nutshell, cryptocurrencies are just digital money, that is being regulated now by a kind of blockchain. And it is through that blockchain, like an open ledger, that you use to see how transactions are being done. In Bitcoin, there are stuff like miners. Now you mine the miners are the ones that carry out the transactions, the confirmations, and all that. It's the same system that every other cryptocurrencies are running with. Like Dogecoin, the same thing, Litecoin, the same thing, and the rest of them. So that's it on cryptocurrencies. Now, the next thing we're going to also look into is why do cryptocurrencies exist? I'll tell you why cryptocurrencies exist. Cryptocurrencies exist because of the first thing that happened in 2008. Now, in 2008, there's what we call financial recession. Now, when that financial recession came in, a good number of people, they went into panic. And the funny thing was that the banks kept telling us that everything was fine, everything was going on well, until this system came in, which is recession. And when recession came in, everybody went into pandemonium. Now, that was what gave birth to cryptocurrencies. Now, through I think it's through programming. It were computer geeks that brought up this system. The purpose they brought it up was because they gave up hope in the central banks. They believed that the central banks they were manipulating things. They didn't like the whole thing. They wanted to have a system where they are going to be the ones in control, a peer-to-peer system. That was what gave birth to cryptocurrencies. Now, another question I would like to ask is what are market-based cryptocurrencies? Now, really, what are market-based cryptocurrencies? Those are the cryptocurrencies in the coin market cap. And as much as possible, I have to work with time to be sure that I don't skip my time. Now, the coin market cap, if you look through, you see that these are coins that are regulated by demand and supply. That's why they are called market-based cryptocurrencies. Now, when there is demand, the value of the coin goes up, and when there is less demand, the value of the coin goes down. You know, that's about that. Then private currencies, private cryptocurrencies. Now, when you look into it, the question now is, what are really currencies? I was listening to a video yesterday, and there was a there was a difference between currencies and money. Now, currencies is money. Now, it can be exchanged. No, sorry, currencies can be used for transactions, and it is accepted within a geographical area. That's currencies. But the difference between currencies and money is that currencies depreciate in value over a period of time. But you see, things that store values can be regarded as money. You can say gold is money because it's value that is store of value that takes time. Over the next 50 years, the inflation rate may be very, very little, you know. So the point I'm actually driving at is that there is a difference between currencies and money. And I can say TBC is actually a store of value. The value of our money keeps growing up until we hit 1 billion. When we hit 1 billion, the value of the money stops. That's TBC. But you see, other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, it goes up, it comes down. It goes up, it comes down. You know, and going up and coming down, would you say that's a store of value? In my own opinion, I don't think so. I don't think that's a store of value. A store of value is something that goes up and remains up or remains stable. You know, at this phase of TBC, we are still in the wealth creation phase. So the value of the money keeps growing up in direct proportion to people that are coming into the community. That's TBC for you. So I would say that TBC is not a cryptocurrency. TBC is a crypto money because it's a digital asset that appreciates in value, and after it has hit 1 billion, it remains stable. That's cryptocurrency. That's crypto money. So every other cryptocurrency in the coin market cap, which are market-based currencies, cryptocurrencies, but TBC is not a cryptocurrency. You can call TBC a crypto money. You know, that's my take on TBC. Now, another thing I would also like to discuss about is when did no not that one. What are our plans in TBC community? Now, our plans in TBC community is to alleviate poverty. I just have a limited time here, so I'm trying to rush everything as fast as I can. And one of the things that I'd like to discuss about is poverty. Now, when we look into our world, majority of those who are suffering this poverty are the Africans and kind of the Asians, like the Indians and the rest of them. But we have international organizations like UNESCO. We have several strong organizations, UNICEF and the rest of them. And World millions in their billions that they have has not been able to end poverty. Do you think it's actually cool? Do you think it's normal? I think it's kind of manipulated. Now, when the TBC admin looked into it, he said, wow, if we continue to allow these things to the hand of the elites, to the hand of the government, well, we don't know the fate of our world. So he decided to give it back to the community, back to the masses. That's exactly what he has done. Now, if you look into Bitcoin, you see that Bitcoin has almost the same system with the paper money, where only a few number of people has majority of the money, majority of the Bitcoin. You know, although Bitcoin is not backed up by anything, you know that Bitcoin is not backed up by anything. The only thing is that Bitcoin has what you call proof of work, the ability of your system to mine a reasonable amount of Bitcoins, so mining in the blockchain. After they've mined according to their computing power, mine a reasonable number of, they are given a reward, which is in Bitcoin. That's the whole system of Bitcoin. But you see, in comparison to TBC, TBC is also being mined, but it's a store of value. TBC is a store of value, but Bitcoin is not a store of value. So TBC is a cryptocurrency that is given to the people, and the people has it. It's like a kind of power given back to the people by the people for the people. Now, giving back to the people are the community members, and it's for the community members or for the whole world in general. Because when we have a reasonable number of people who believe in the concept of TBC, then it becomes a globally accepted system. You can go to someone and say, let me pay you in TBC. And he's like, what's TBC? You explain to him, you tell him there are already about 100 million people in the world that are using it. So it's a currency. Use it. You can go to this store accept it, this store accept it. Now that's when we've grown to that number of people. But to get to that number of people, it's not going to be so easy. It will take a while. Okay? So we have to be consistent in spreading the gifts. Spreading the gifts is not hard. It's not difficult. It's quite easy. You just keep spreading the gifts, by telling them about it. A good number of people has been complaining. They're like, how do I go about it? How do I how do I sell my TBCs? To sell TBCs are not difficult. It's not difficult at all. Should I tell you? Give them the gift. Tell them that I want to give you a gift. It's a gift. It's a digital money. It's about $100,000. Just take it. The value of your money keeps growing up according to the people that come into the community. It doesn't cost you anything to take it. But like a bank account, that's what you should make them understand. You don't just open an account. It's like an account you're opening, but it's in the TBC community system. Now, that account, you are responsible to pay. You are responsible for paying a certain amount. That's about $10. You are responsible to pay $10 every year. Unlike Bitcoin, at a time, Bitcoin charged me for a transaction of about $1,200. That's $1,200. They charged me about $150 for transaction fees. That's so much. But TBC, they do not make charges. That's TBC, they don't make charges. No. What TBC just does is make a single payment. Now, that payment is for your Kringle cash or a lifetime payment for your wallet. After you've made that payment, you can do transactions all the year, and then your transactions are free. Now, that's the system of TBC. Now, back to the question that I was asking. I said, what are our plans? Our plans in TBC is to bring back money, bring back life, bring back wealth to the people. That's what TBC is all about. You have money, use your money and do whatsoever you want to do. Unlike the way the system has been created in the fiat system. The fiat system is a system that is controlled by the banks, controlled by the governments. They are the ones that issue regulations or issue directives as to how much money to be printed. But you see, even though they are printing several millions of money, causing hyperinflation into the economy, yet what has happened? People are still suffering. The values of things are still going up and up and up. So is it good? Is it to our own advantage? In my own opinion, no, it's not to our own advantage. So I think the best alternative is to seek another way out. According to the admin said that if we continue like this, that we're going to go down. So he is looking for a better, easier, much more organized system. And how is he doing it? Bringing us as a community to reason alike, think alike, work together, especially through the send button meetings. For those of us who are not aware of send button meetings are meetings that are being held every Monday. And in Nigeria, it's about 3 p.m. And everything is always on the blog. Every Monday, make effort to check the blog, and you'll find when the meeting is supposed to hold. And I think it's 7 a.m. PDT time. When you check it up, you see it most times it's 7 a.m. And Bitcoin ID is usually the one that handles the meeting. It's in that meeting that they guide us on the next strategy we should employ. You know, that meeting guides us on what to do and what not to do. And as long as we are following up on those meetings, you see that we are being built up as one single community, you know. So as much as I can, I'll rush it. Maybe next week I'll take my time to break it step by step. Okay? Now, let's continue. The next one is, why is the government fighting us? Now, that's a very major question. Why is the government fighting us? And hold on, sorry. Okay. Now, on the part of why the governments are fighting us, the reason why the governments are fighting us is, like I said before, what happened in 2008. The system, they didn't want anyone to escape. So they kept telling them that everything is fine, all is well, have no fears. That's what they do. They'll never tell you the truth. You don't expect the banks to tell you the truth. You know, the world is designed in a very naughty, difficult way. They'll keep telling you all is well, all is fine, but you know, suddenly the crash just comes in. And when the crash comes in, what do? You have no other place to go. So they are really pissed off, especially the banks. They are really upset. And some other elites and some other organizations are trying to say, if you make use of cryptocurrencies, it can be regulated, it can be controlled. So anything that goes wrong with your money, well, that's up to you. That's exactly what they say. But really, do you think that's okay? When the system goes down, you think they will come to help you out? No, they leave you all to your own feet. So my own advice is this: invest in cryptocurrencies, especially in TBCs. Forget about the fact that Facebook has banned us. Forget about the fact that Twitter has banned us. And some other organizations are also trying to ban us. They are trying to do so because they do not have the understanding. Some of them are being manipulated. But I want you to understand that sooner or later, the fiat system will go down. And what will be the next alternative? Is it the stock market? No. Is it the coin market cap? You think everyone is comfortable with a currency that fluctuates up and down? No. Most people want something that is stable. That's the reason why I think TBC is the best. All right. So I just have like 5 minutes left. So after 5 minutes, I'll round it off. Now, the next question I would want to pose here is what is our future means of exchange? Now, what's our future means of exchange? Now, from this question, it brings us to the bank. The admin clearly made us understand that a bank has come in. It's going to be that bank that will interface with TBC until the fiat system goes down. Now, it's going to be that bank that will give testers and backup testers ATM cards. After a while, backup testers and testers will use it, and then more people would also come in. It's not going to be the testers and the backup testers. I want to believe that there will be a time where each and everyone in the community will take part in exchanging with this bank. And you know, there must be a transition phase. It's that bank that will serve as a transition phase, where we're going to exchange TBC for cash for a certain amount of time until the fiat system goes down. When the fiat system goes down, what happens is that the banks, they will take another different form, because there should be another system that will come in. And to a very good extent, it's going to be the Fed coins. Now, when those Fed coins comes in, it's going to be much tighter. And it will give room for the government to manipulate, to control, to regulate, in fact, you'll be a total slave, because everything will be much more organized through the cryptocurrency system. You're able to know how much you are being paid, know everything, how much you're spending and everything. You know, but when you come into TBC, it's a freedom thing. You use your money, do what you like. That's when many people will come into TBC, you know? And then when they come into TBC, they live their life, they are happy, and really there's nothing the government can do about it. Why? Because it's cryptocurrencies, and it can't be controlled. Like saying you want to shut down the internet. You can't shut down the internet, you know? So I think I've said something on that. So the point I'm driving at is the TBC community will have an exchange. Now that exchange is still under process. The admin is taking his time to gather things. Currently now what he's doing is he's releasing 500 people send button every day. If you make your payments within a period of 1 week, your send buttons will be turned on. And as soon as your send buttons is being turned on, you'll be in preparation, because after this on of send buttons, the next phase is migration. And I'm having this feeling that when we get into 3 million, between 3 million and 3.2 million, we'll start the migration, And then after that migration, the bank comes in. The admin clearly said that the banks are already waiting for us, that we are the ones delaying it. So as soon as we finish the migration, we move into a new blockchain, much more organized, faster in transactions, and after that level, the ATM cards will be given to us. After the ATM cards are given to us, we'll start doing a test run process. And as we start doing the test run process, more people will see that TBC is actually cash. People are actually changing money, and they will start coming in. And as they keep coming in, the value keeps growing up, and the admin will keep giving more room for the testers, backup testers, and new other people to have an opportunity to work with the bank. And as we keep doing that, we keep growing and growing and growing and growing until we hit 1 billion. But I do not have a guarantee when this fiat system will collapse. It may be while we are building on the system to get 1 billion, or after we've hit 1 billion. It's up to the system to decide it. But I'm so certain that between now and then, TBC would have become a kind of stable economy where people will be using their money to do a good number of things. Now, that thing will run for a while until TBC has become widely accepted. You may not need to change your money again to cash before you pay someone. You can pay someone directly through TBC. That's exactly where we're going. And everything will come into play by the end of this year. Between now and the end of this year, all these things will come to full materialization. And another thing I also want to discuss, I think I've discussed on it briefly, that when will the migration take place? The blockchain was having issues, and it has been properly designed, upgraded, and everything now is normal. What the admin is doing is releasing send buttons. After he has released send buttons and seen that the community is willing to make payments, then the next phase is going to be migration. So expect the migration to be second week of April, between second week and third week of April. That's exactly how I see it. I think I've spoken well on that. And I think I've exhausted my 30 minutes time. I don't know if there are people that would have questions. If you have any question, I don't know. If you have any questions, I don't know if you could just indicate kind of, or you could drop it so that I could check it out. Okay. I guess this is my first time of giving this video, and every Saturday I'll be coming in to give this video. So for those of us who has watched this video, please, I humbly request that you come in next week. Next week we're going to talk on a number of other things. I just quickly rushed this week's one, and next week we're going to talk so much more. And I believe that you may want to still contact me. Maybe there are a good number of things you want to discuss about with me. Now, my number will be down. I will drop everything, and you could contact me. My Facebook will be there. My phone number will be there, and we could have one-on-one talk. You could send me an email. We can discuss. So I think that will be all. So I think I'll stop here. And if you have anything to discuss with me, I'll drop my contact. Feel free, and I would clarify you. Okay, thank you very much. You do have a lovely day, and God bless you. Bye.